In the chaos of war, victory often comes down to strategy, one idea so transformative that it shifts the course of history. The Mastermind strategy that completely wrecked Europe's battlefields wasn't just a tactic, it was a revolutionary concept that shattered conventional rules of combat. Born out of desperation and innovation during one of history's darkest chapters, this strategy combined speed, firepower, and meticulous planning to unleash devastation on an unprecedented scale. How did a single approach render armies powerless and reshape the nature of warfare itself? Let's dive into the story of Blitzkrieg, the lightning-fast strategy that left nations stunned, battlefields in ruins, and a chilling legacy that endures to this day. For centuries, battles in Europe followed a predictable rhythm. Lines of soldiers clashed head-on in brutal confrontations. Cavalry charges, artillery bombardments, and trench warfare shaped the rules of engagement. Wars were won through endurance, resources, and attrition, often dragging on for years. But then, everything changed. The stage was World War II, a conflict that brought innovations in weaponry and tactics, but also a strategy so groundbreaking and devastating that it left military leaders scrambling to adapt. It was known as Blitzkrieg, the Lightning War. More than just a name, Blitzkrieg was a philosophy of warfare that emphasized speed, surprise, and coordination to overwhelm the enemy before they could mount a proper defense. Blitzkrieg was not a spontaneous invention, but rather the result of years of observation and adaptation. Its origins can be traced back to the devastating stalemates of World War I. Trenches stretched across Europe like scars, and traditional strategies led to unimaginable loss of life with little progress. Military theorists in Germany, such as Heinz Guderian, began to study how to break these deadlocks. Drawing from ideas of mobility and firepower, they envisioned a new way to wage war, one that would bypass the enemy's strengths and exploit their vulnerabilities. The foundation of Blitzkrieg was its reliance on mechanized units, tanks, trucks, and planes. Tanks acted as the spearhead, piercing enemy lines with their armor and firepower. Motorized infantry followed, consolidating gains and exploiting breaches. Above all, air support was critical. Dive bombers, like the infamous Stuk, rained destruction on key positions, leaving defenders deoriented and demoralized. The strategy depended on relentless momentum. By striking quickly and without warning, Blitzkrieg sought to prevent the enemy from regrouping or launching a counterattack. The first demonstration of Blitzkrieg's potential came in 1939 during Germany's invasion of Poland. The speed of the attack was staggering. Polish forces, still relying on cavalry and outdated defensive strategies, were caught off guard. Within weeks, the country was overwhelmed, its defenses crushed under the weight of a coordinated onslaught. This rapid victory shocked the world and proved that Blitzkrieg was not just a theory, but a devastating reality. However, it was in 1940, during the invasion of France, that Blitzkrieg truly earned its fearsome reputation. France had prepared for war by constructing the Maginot Line, a series of heavily fortified defenses designed to repel any German invasion. Yet, the Germans bypassed these defenses entirely, striking through the Ardennes forest, a region deemed impassable by French military planners. This audacious move exemplified Blitzkrieg's core principle: attack where the enemy least expects it.
The German forces moved with astonishing speed, cutting through Belgium and into France. Towns fell in hours and cities in days. French and British forces, unprepared for the pace and coordination of the assault, were driven back in disarray. In a matter of weeks, Paris fell and France capitulated. It was an outcome that no one had anticipated. A nation that had held its ground for 4 years in World War I was now defeated in mere weeks.
One of the key aspects of Blitzkrieg was its emphasis on flexibility and initiative. Lower-ranking officers were empowered to make decisions on the spot, adapting to unfolding situations without waiting for orders from higher-ups. This decentralized command structure was revolutionary in an era when most armies relied on rigid hierarchies and pre-planned maneuvers. It allowed German forces to exploit opportunities and maintain their momentum, ensuring that their enemies were always one step behind. The psychological impact of Blitzkrieg cannot be overstated. The sheer speed and intensity of the attacks created a sense of panic and helplessness among defenders. Soldiers often found themselves surrounded or outflanked before they could even comprehend the full extent of the assault. Civilians, too, were gripped by fear as their towns and cities fell with dizzying speed. Blitzkrieg wasn't just a military strategy, it was psychological warfare, designed to break the will of the enemy as much as their defenses. But Blitzkrieg was not without its limitations. Its reliance on speed and coordination made it highly vulnerable to logistical challenges. Supply lines had to keep pace with the advancing forces, delivering fuel, ammunition, and food to the front. If these lines were disrupted, the entire operation could grind to a halt. This vulnerability became apparent during Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. At first, the invasion seemed to follow the familiar Blitzkrieg script. German forces achieved stunning victories, capturing vast swathes of Soviet territory and encircling entire armies. But as the campaign dragged on, the weaknesses of Blitzkrieg began to surface. The vast distances of the Soviet Union stretched supply lines to their breaking point. The harsh winter and fierce Soviet resistance further compounded the difficulties. Blitzkrieg, designed for short, decisive campaigns, faltered in the face of prolonged conflict and logistical strain. Despite these setbacks, Blitzkrieg's legacy reshaped the nature of modern warfare. Its emphasis on mobility, speed, and the integration of air and ground forces became the foundation for military strategies around the world. Even today, armies study and incorporate elements of Blitzkrieg, recognizing its enduring relevance. Blitzkrieg also holds lessons beyond the battlefield. It was a product of its time, reflecting the technological and cultural shifts of the 20th century. It harnessed the power of mechanization and communication, demonstrating how innovation could disrupt even the most entrenched systems. At the same time, it serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of over-reliance on any single strategy. The devastation wrought by Blitzkrieg also raises questions about the ethics of such a strategy. Its success came at a tremendous cost. Cities reduced to rubble, millions displaced, and countless lives lost. The same speed and efficiency that made Blitzkrieg so effective also made it a tool of unimaginable destruction. As we reflect on this revolutionary strategy, we're reminded of the dual nature of innovation in warfare. Blitzkrieg was a triumph of human ingenuity, but it also serves as a warning of how that ingenuity can be turned toward destruction. It forever altered the landscape of Europe's battlefields, leaving a legacy that continues to influence military thought and reminds us of the devastating cost of war. Blitzkrieg remains a symbol of strategic brilliance, a method that combined intelligence, adaptability, and raw power to achieve the unthinkable. It's a story of triumph and tragedy, of innovation and devastation. And while the world has moved on, the lessons of Blitzkrieg endure, a testament to the enduring power of strategy in shaping history. With its devastating impact on Europe's battlefields, Blitzkrieg remains one of the most compelling examples of how a single strategy can rewrite the rules of war and the world.